Major security breach. Houthi missile knocks. Ben Gurion Airport out of service. Netanyahu in shock. Just moments ago, images emerged showing the moment a missile struck near Ben Gurion Airport. A Yemeni missile managed to break through Israeli air defenses and hit Ben Gurion Airport in what's being described as a serious and unprecedented security incident. Israeli media reported that a long-range ballistic missile launched by the Yemeni armed forces struck the heart of Ben Gurion International Airport near Tel Aviv. Channel 12 said the missile got past 4 layers of advanced air defense systems, including the Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Patriot system, before hitting its target with precision. According to the same sources, the missile had a massive warhead that caused huge explosions across the airport. Footage on Hebrew news outlets showed thick smoke rising and large fires breaking out in the cargo terminal and surrounding buildings, creating panic and confusion among travelers. Israeli radio confirmed that the country's security and military leadership are in a state of shock and deep concern, especially since the airport is one of Israel's most heavily protected sites, guarded by complex defense systems designed specifically to prevent this kind of attack. In the first official response, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called for an emergency meeting of the Security Cabinet. Authorities have shut down the airport entirely and redirected flights to alternative airports. Meanwhile, media outlets close to the Ansar Allah movement, Houthis, said the strike was a strategic response to Israel's ongoing aggression in Gaza. They claimed that what comes after Tel Aviv will be different than before. Arab and international political and media circles are watching the developments closely, raising questions about how capable Israeli defenses really are against rising threats from Yemen.
Houthi missile hits Ramat David Air Base. Arab and Israeli media also reported that Ramat David Air Base in northern Israel was hit directly by another long-range ballistic missile launched by Yemeni forces. According to a statement from Brigadier General Yahya Sari, the attack was in retaliation for continued US-Israeli aggression against the Yemeni people and in support of the Palestinian resistance. The missile reportedly struck one of the airfields inside the base, sparking massive fires and destroying 3 US-made F-15 fighter jets that were stationed there as part of American support operations. Haaretz newspaper confirmed the destruction. Al Mayadeen's correspondent reported that loud explosions were heard across parts of Tel Aviv, and air raid sirens went off in several nearby settlements. The Israeli government declared a state of maximum alert across all air bases, anticipating more strikes. Commentators on Israel's channel Kan 11 called it a strategic setback for both the Israeli and US air forces in the region, and said the government is stunned by the precision of the strike. Prime Minister Netanyahu held an emergency meeting with military and Shin Bet leaders to assess the situation. Photos from the base area showed thick plumes of smoke and firefighting crews struggling to contain the huge blaze, which threatened to cause further damage. Military analysts said the strike could force Tel Aviv to request additional military aid from Washington, as Netanyahu's government faces an unprecedented military and political crisis.
Houthi missile hits U.S. Navy fleet, damages F-53 jet. The Yemeni armed forces announced today that they carried out a special operation targeting the U.S. Navy fleet stationed in the Red Sea. According to military spokesman Brigadier General Yahya Sari, a locally made cruise missile hit an American fighter jet, F-53, parked on the deck of an aircraft carrier. The statement said the strike was a response to ongoing U.S. aggression against the Yemeni people and claimed the missile was developed with advanced technology that can bypass high-level defense systems. Military sources reported that the jet sustained serious damage, catching fire on the carrier's deck. U.S. crews scrambled to extinguish the fire and stop it from spreading to other jets. American media quoted Pentagon officials as saying the USS Harry Truman had to carry out an emergency maneuver and retreat to a secure location in regional waters, fearing further attacks. The U.S. Fifth Fleet was placed on high alert. Initial reports said there were no casualties, but the damage to the F-53 jet, one of the most advanced and expensive in the U.S. arsenal, was described as significant and alarming. The White House expressed deep concern over the escalating situation. and the U.S. president called for an emergency meeting of the National Security Council to explore military and strategic responses.
Massive fires sweep through Israel, flames near Netanyahu's residence. A wave of massive fires broke out across several parts of Israel, causing panic among settlers as flames approached Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence in West Jerusalem. Channel Khan reported that the fires, fueled by an intense heat wave and severe drought, were spreading quickly due to strong winds, destroying large areas of forests and brush near Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Yedioth Ahronoth newspaper said Israel's fire and civil defense forces declared a state of emergency. Dozens of helicopters and firefighting teams were deployed to contain the fires.
Massive fires rage across Israel, flames near Netanyahu's residence. Emergency crews rushed to multiple fire zones in a desperate attempt to control the massive blazes. Meanwhile, Al Mayadeen TV reported that hundreds of settlers had fled their homes near Jerusalem and around Tel Aviv due to growing fears that the flames could reach sensitive facilities.
According to Israeli security sources, the fire came within less than a kilometer of Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence, prompting the authorities to tighten security in the area and evacuate nearby residents. In a brief statement, Netanyahu expressed deep concern over the severity of the situation and called for immediate international assistance. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz reported that Israel had issued urgent requests to Greece, Cyprus and Italy for firefighting aircraft to help contain the disaster, echoing scenes from the devastating Carmel forest fires back in 2010. The current situation is shaping up to be an environmental and security catastrophe, with no signs of the fires slowing down and more damage expected in the coming hours. Massive blazes sweep southern Israel. Widespread fires have broken out in southern Israel, particularly near the Gaza envelope, around the Black Arrow Memorial west of the city of Sderot. The fires began early in the morning and spread rapidly, fueled by dry eastern winds. The flames are dangerously close to positions held by Israeli Merkava tank battalions. In an urgent statement, the Israeli Home Front Command declared a state of emergency in the area, activated sirens, and ordered the evacuation of several military and strategic sites. Military sources say the fire is now just meters away from arms depots and tank hangars, posing a serious strategic risk. In response, Israel's foreign ministry appealed to several regional and European nations, especially Greece, Cyprus and Italy, for specialized firefighting aircraft and teams. Hundreds of Israeli civil defense personnel, along with army units, have been deployed along the fire front. Israeli media reported that Prime Minister Netanyahu held an emergency meeting with military and security leaders, warning that if the fires reach weapons depots and tanks, it could lead to disaster. The public is watching the situation nervously, especially as the fires spread toward nearby residential areas, raising fears of a repeat of the deadly 2020 Carmel fire. Yemeni missile strikes near Dimona nuclear reactor. In a major and unprecedented escalation, Yemen's armed forces announced they had launched a high-precision ballistic missile, named Palestine II, targeting a strategic power station near the Dimona nuclear reactor in Israel's southern Negev desert. According to the Yemeni military spokesperson, the missile was launched with high accuracy from Yemeni territory and successfully hit its target, causing significant damage to the power station and nearly knocking out its entire operational system. Footage from the scene showed thick smoke and massive flames rising from the explosion site, sparking panic among settlers in nearby areas. Israeli authorities immediately declared a state of high alert and sent dozens of firefighting and rescue teams to the area in an urgent effort to contain the fire and prevent it from spreading to sensitive nuclear facilities at Dimona. Israeli sources expressed serious concern that the flames or damage could reach the heart of the reactor, posing a large-scale catastrophe. According to Israeli media, Netanyahu was reportedly in a state of shock over the precision and scale of the strike, which Yemen claimed was in retaliation for Israeli attacks on Gaza and continued aggression against Yemen. Channel 12 called it the most serious attack on a critical site in decades, while US sources said Washington is closely monitoring the situation with concern about further escalation. F-18 fighter crashes during missile attack. In another significant development, Military sources confirmed that a US F-18 fighter jet crashed into the sea after taking off urgently from the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman, which was under missile attack by Yemeni forces in the Red Sea.
According to Yemeni military spokesperson Brigadier General Yahya Saree, cruise missiles were launched at the carrier in retaliation for continued U.S. aggression against Yemen. The sudden attack triggered alarm sirens aboard the carrier, prompting emergency takeoff procedures for the aircraft on deck. During the rushed launch, one F-18 lost control due to the chaos and crashed directly into the sea, exploding on impact. The crash site caught fire, and an immediate emergency response was launched by the carrier and nearby vessels.
While US officials have not denied the incident, they downplayed it as an aerial mishap during routine operations, with internal reviews ongoing. Analysts say this attack reveals a dangerous escalation in Houthi capability to threaten US naval forces even in open waters, potentially altering the rules of engagement.